So anytime you have a superpower, it's got to be connected to a solution, and that solution's got to solve a problem, right? So we can all have superpowers in various areas, but it's got to be connected somewhere somehow. So what I do is I break that down into three levels. Okay, so the first level is a skill, right? So if you're going to make money online as a coach, consultant, a strategist, a teacher, a mentor, an implementer, those are 6 ways you can make money online. Then you have to have some sort of skill, right? You have to be able to be good at something. Skills are learned from stuff from the past, right? That you then leverage for the future. So for me, I was a pastor for many years. I would stand on stages of thousands of people each and every weekend, communicate. And so I knew that I could communicate incredibly clearly, right? I knew I could take complex things and make them simple. So that was a skill that I had. I also knew that I knew marketing, I knew funnels, I knew copywriting, messaging. Those were all skill sets. Okay, that I learned in the past that I can leverage for the future. Then the second thing is you have to take that skill and move it to a system. Okay. Now, can I take my skill and create a logical and linear pathway to get a result for somebody? If I don't have a logical and linear pathway, then I'm not going to be able to make sense to my audience. I'm not going to be able to make sense to my client. Okay. So you can't have a superpower unless you have a skill and unless you have a logical and linear pathway. How am I going to get people from point A to point B in a step-by-step process where I can communicate? That's where all your intellectual property comes in. Okay, so this is what you're known for, is that particular thing. Then the superpower then is awesome. Now it's no longer hidden under a bushel. Now it can be illuminated. So what my superpower is I can spend 4 to 5 minutes with Chris or 4 to 5 minutes with John, just asking you some strategic questions. And then I can know your business better than you know it. And I can tell you exactly what to do, how to do, when to do it, where to do it, as good or better than anyone that I've ever met in my life. And so that I've identified that as my superpower. So then what happens is when I get on a call with somebody and I ask these strategic questions, I actually call this the Rev method because I used to be a reverend. I call it the Rev method. When I ask these strategic questions to get knowledge information from you, okay, then I ask other questions and to lead you to the promised land of like, oh my God, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Then I learned that I was the guy. I was the guy who did that. And because I was the guy who did that, you now have transferred your faith from the unknown to me. Okay. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? I don't know. Now you transferred your faith from that unknown, like, I don't know if I can, to like, okay, I think this guy could help me. Okay. So now I'm only selling one thing, and that's hope. That's it. Okay. Now I'm selling hope. You've transferred over to me, and you're like, I hope this guy, I think this guy, I know this guy can help me. Okay. So once I've used my ability to ask questions to get you to that point, then now what I do is I tell you, if I were you, here's what I think you should do. And I give you advice and information that you've probably not heard before, or if you heard it, you didn't hear it nearly as clearly as I can. And now all of a sudden, I've illuminated something in your mind. You open up your wallet and you pay me. Okay, that's my superpower. Is to be able to ask strategic questions to get you to an aha moment, so you can transfer your faith from the unknown to me. Once I have the faith, once I know that I'm now the person, I can tell you exactly what you should do and how you should do it. And then you're like, whoa! And then I've created what's called the logical next step. Okay, the logical next step. The logical next step is not me saying, "Hey, so do you want to work together?" No, the logical next step is John and Chris saying, "Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. How can we work together?" Now my audience is coming to me asking me how we can work together, and I don't ever have to sell somebody, ever. I don't ever have to
That's
sell somebody.
awesome.
And that's my superpower. Yeah. But it
That's
starts with a
amazing.
skill, like you identifying what you're good at, and then putting it in a system, a logical linear process. Okay. And then identifying uh, what you're really great at, and then illuminating it so people can move their faith from the unknown to you. And once they do that, they just ask you what the next step is. Hey, let me send you an invoice. We'll get started on Monday.
Awesome. What would be a story that you could share of an example of when you were able to do that with one of your clients or somebody that you're just, helping or adding value to?
Yeah. I mean, I've got thousands of those situations. Um, let me give you one I'll give you one that was recent. Okay. Um, so one that was recent was a gal here in the Phoenix area. We had connected in one of the community groups or whatever, and someone asked a question in the group, and I just went in and I helped. It was a really simple. It was a simple question, And then this person jumped in my DMs and said, "Hey, I really liked how you helped that person. Um, tell me more about what you do. We're looking for a coach." And so instead of immediately jumping onto me, you remember it's all about them, because at the end of the day, John, nobody cares about you. I mean, people are watching
Yep.
this podcast today. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. They don't care about Chris. They care about themselves, right? And so this person asked me, "Hey, I may be looking for a coach. Tell me more about what you do." So I resisted the urge. In fact, I've got this written down everywhere. Resist the urge. I resisted the urge to do ego marketing. And I just asked some questions. Okay, well, before I tell you that, tell me a little bit about you. What do you do? Okay, great. Then I moved to the positive. Okay, well, what's going great? What's working well for you? Awesome. What keeps you up at night? They tell me, oh, what do you think you needed to fix that? Oh, okay. Do you mind if I give you some free coaching? Oh, I would love to give you some free coaching. Okay. So let's jump on a call and I'll give you some coaching, or I'll do it right in the DMs or whatever. And so was doing this with this particular person, and I hadn't even gotten to the free coaching part. I was just asking her some questions. And she goes, "You have brought so much clarity to me, more clarity than I've ever gotten. I just paid $25,000 for this coaching program, and I've learned more on this, little DM thread than I did in the entire $25,000 coaching." And what was so interesting was I hadn't even started coaching her yet. I just was asking really
Um,
solid questions. And so learning the art of questions, and the nice thing with Chat GPT, they're the best. They're the best. And so you can go in and you can even prompt GPT to help you become a better coach by asking really good questions. What are some questions I should ask? And then tell it, no, those are too weak. Those are $10,000 a month. I'm looking for $100,000 a month questions. What are they? And then I'll give you better questions, and then you can use those. And so I just started asking her, asking her some questions. You got more clarity and things like that. And mind you, I still have yet to tell her one piece of coaching, and I've yet to tell her what I do. And she replies back with, "Gosh, I bet your coaching is really expensive, isn't it?" And I replied back, "Well, you should hope it's expensive. You need it to be expensive. Because if it's not expensive, everybody would hire me. If it's not expensive, then you wouldn't take me seriously." I said, "Of course it's expensive." I said, "It's $50,000 for the year." And she goes, "Well, I can't afford $50,000. I said, "And I can't afford to lower my rates." I said, "But what I can do is I can let you come in at $5,000 a month, okay, for 90 days. And if at the end of 90 days you don't think it's worth the remaining money, you've gotten tons of help from me. I give you my best stuff in the first 90 days. I'll take the $15,000 and run. You can go your own way." Great. When she's well on her way. She gets into a month and a half of it, and she goes, "Would you give me a discount if I just paid the entire $50,000?" I'm like, "Well, we give 10% off." Right. And so she was great. But that's the case. The case in point is when you help people, great things happen. Great things happen. When you sell people, you start the relationship on a slippery slope. But when you help people, you start the relationship from the position of reciprocity. And that's what I love.
If you want to save time on watching all the episodes, but still get all the gold nuggets that we find from interviewing these 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, then you can get all of that inside of the 2 Comma Club newsletter. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com and subscribe.